All right, all right. Kind of get myself prepared for. I have a bucket here that lights um, to keep mosquitoes and certain bugs away. I'm outside in my backyard, and uh, good morning, shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this devil platform with another message. I will say this is a lovely day in which the Most High Yah has made, and I, Sister Deborah, shall rest therein. I'm coming to you today, this morning, this early morning, with a message because I want to let you know the Most High got me fired up from the inside out. Do He have me fired up? And what happened was this morning, I was just viewing a young man that was speaking on some issues, and he kind of covered some of the issues that I have experienced. But in it all, I fully understand what it's all about. And as he was trying to pinpoint it and figure it out, I began to say some things, message him some things, and I realized how potent what I was saying was. And then at that moment, the spirit of the Most High Yah was so heavily upon me to where it empowered me to come right now, this day, this moment, this second, this minute and hour in which I am now on live today, this morning. The Most High Yah, I just thank Him. I just thank Him for who He is all by Himself. Okay, this is the total end day warning. This is the total end day warning to our men. Go to the next video. If you ain't about the Most High Yah and you don't have Him in spirit nor in truth, you don't have that gift, or you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh, it's time to go to the next video and park yourself where your flesh can be satisfied and content with what you want to receive and believe and deliver in your flesh, because this is strictly spirit. I even said when the spirit was talking to me, I was saying, okay, I'm going forward, Father, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, the only name that can usher me to the Father's throne. I'm going forward. And I ain't taking the book. That's what I said. I'm not taking the book. I'm going to speak like I spoke to that young man while the spirit of the Most High Yah had led me, because that young man had to have been one of His. So I'm coming strictly spirit, and hopefully that your flesh can buckle to what is spoken spirit, and it is truth. I want to start with the beginning. I want to start with the beginning to you men. You have wronged a creator since the beginning. You have manipulated His word. You have flipped His word inside out, outside in. You have turned what is righteous into what is unrighteous. And you walk therein proudly with your chest sticking out. Understand that chest is flesh. So if your chest in the flesh is sticking out, you know what your spirit looks like. I'm coming spirit, and I'm coming truth. In the book of Genesis, the Most High talks about when He created man and how He created and how it hadn't rained and how the mist and how He began to form man, not woman, but man. And as He completed forming man, He told him what was in the place in which He was going to place him, which is his body, his flesh. And He took him to that place, and He gave him one commandment, and that is to not take in what is knowledge of evil. He told him that not to take it in. Let me go there. Let's go to Genesis. You're gonna go to Genesis 2 and 16. I'm gonna go there with you. And women, it's time for you to sit down. Just sit down and learn, hear this, just hear the message so you can apply it to the rest of your life and realize you've been deceived from the book of Genesis all the way up into the year 2021. Now, the book, the chapter of Genesis, second chapter, verse 15. We're going to start Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. We go to 16, 17, and 18. Now, listen to this. And the Lord God took man and he put him in the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Okay. He was to do what? Dress it and to what? Keep it. Okay. He told him that's his purpose was to dress it and to keep it. Now listen to this. Verse 16. And the Lord God commanded the man. So when men get to talking about the law, the statutes and the commandments, this was a one commandment that was given to one man. One commandment. Listen to what it says. And everybody at the sound of my voice, write this down. This is in Genesis chapter 2, verse 16. We're about to hear the one commandment that the Most High, the creator of all things, said to the one man that he had created. And he said, and the Lord commanded the man, saying, wait a minute, no, Deborah, he commanded the man and the woman. No. Y'all had a purpose and a reason why he only formed one out of the mist. One. He wanted you to understand this. See, what people don't understand, why did he do that? Even though he spoke into existence, creating he and her and them. But yet, when it got time for him to create it, he made sure that he only created the one. The one. And that was man. Now, in 16, it says, and the Lord commanded the man, watch this here, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. Okay. But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, okay, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. Now, what was the commandment? Not to take in to your body, bring it into your spirit man. That's what he's talking about. Connecting good and evil to your spirit man. You see? So he's saying here in verse 17, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. So when you eat something, it bypasses your mouth and it goes in. So Yah is speaking spirit. Okay. So he's telling him, for in that the day. See, Yah deal with the day. And the day represent a moment that is not pleasant, you guys. I know we want to make it seem like it's a pleasant thing, today. But no, you don't know what this day is and what is set up for this day. Now he said in verse 17, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day, what was that? The day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Now, let's go to 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a help meet for him. Okay. Now listen to this. I will make him a help meet for him. Now, what is he making? A help meet for him. Okay. To meet what? The will of the Father. So she is created to help him bring forth the will of the Father. Out of everything Yah had created, you notice he said it was good. It was good. Everything he created, he said it was good until it got down to where it was just man. And then he said, it is not good that man shall be alone. So let me go back to the book, not to the natural book, but to his will. Okay. His will is like a book. It got not like a natural book. It is spirit. It's got everything set according to the way he designed it. Okay. Now in Genesis chapter 2, verses 18, it says, and the Lord God said, it is not good. And I said, wait a minute, hold up, Father, y'all. Hold up. Everything you created from the beginning, you have said it was good. It was good. It was good. But when you look at your design of man and you saw him there alone, that was a part of your plan. But you said it is not good. Why isn't it not good? That man shall be alone. I will make him a help meet for him. Help meet. Help meet. He has to meet something. Man has been charged to meet an obligation of the Most High Yah. And the Most High Yah knew it wouldn't be good that he meet these obligations on his own. Why? Because I want to tell every man out there who are lost without a cause and think they are awakening and think they know what they think they know. See, this thing is spirit. It is not flesh. It is not something you can precept here, line here, a little here, run, take Torah and master it and bring it before your bosom, and teach your congregation. No. This thing is spirit and is truth. And I thank the Most High for that. Because Sister Deborah is bypass flesh. Sister Deborah bypass flesh. Strictly go straight past flesh. Because flesh can't grip this thing. Flesh can't comprehend this thing. And I know that. So I, myself, when I commune with Yah, he deals with me in spirit and in truth. Now, here the Most High is saying is that it's not good that man should be alone. I will make him a help meet for him so that he can meet the obligation in which Yah has charged him to. What obligation is that? Let's go to John chapter 1. In John chapter 1, the Most High is dealing with Genesis. Okay? He's dealing with the whole purpose of man. Okay? And he's saying in chapter 1 of Gospel of John, chapter 1 and verse 4, in him was life. And it's in Yah. In the Creator was life. But he wanted what? And the life was the light of men. You see? Yah has life, which is the breath, to give to every male. Okay? Along with a light. Let's read it. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 4. In him was life, and the life was the light. The light. All over the world, they call it a soul. But it is a light, which identifies a spirit. Man was giving a spirit of men. You see, it's males. Yah gave men the light to carry. You see? And he needed woman to bring it forth as a helpmate for him to carry the light, birth the light. But he had the light therein. Let's read it again. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 4 and 5. Let's go to 3. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 3, 4, and 5. All things were made by him. Now, see, yeah, he's talking about the beginning in Genesis. Watch this here. And without him was not anything made that was made. He's stepping right back to Genesis from the beginning. Now, watch what it said. In him was life. Yah had a breath that he wanted to give it to men, along with something else. He gave them the breath of life, and he gave them the light. In Genesis, they call it a soul, but actually it's a spirit. It is a light. A spirit is like a brightness. It is a light. It is not flesh. So Yah is saying in the Gospel of John, I gave males the light to carry therein, but they can't bring it forth. So I'm going to bring woman on the scene so she can meet with him and help him bring forth the light. You see, it rests within him. If you ever wonder why he say forefathers, why is it from Genesis all the way to Revelation, he talking about the fathers, men. The ignorance thinking that they all this and all that. They kings, they leaders, they rulers. No, you are the carrier. You are the carrier of all the lights that rest therein on the earth. Do you hear that, man? You're carrying the light that rests therein on the face of the earth. So everything that's going on has no connection to woman, but to man, because Yah trusts you in the beginning when he created you and you alone. And in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 3, 4, and 5, he explained to, in verse 4, in him was life. In Yah, he had a plan of a life, which is the breath. And the life was the light of men. He gave them the breath of life along with the light. In Genesis, it's called it the breath, and man became a living soul. Okay, that is the light. Now, he was only dealing with Adam. It didn't have nothing to do with Eve. So Eve's mission has nothing to do with what is today and yesterday. Has nothing to do with it. Even though it has been set up in the mindset, Yah only are going to hold man accountable for what is, what was, and what shall be. Why? He knew who he invested the light into. And he says right here in 4 of the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 4, in him was life. That's in Yah. And the life was the breath, the light of man. See, the light was the breath. He gave them the breath and the light. In Genesis, it says he gave them the breath and they became a living soul. But it is really a spirit. It is a light they became. Okay. So, and it was only in me. And it is, John is on one accord with Genesis chapter 2, verse 6 to the T. They match it. But yet one is in one part and the other one is 1,000 years later. John is talking about it in the Gospel of John. And then it says, and the light shineth in darkness. What's the darkness? The darkness is the flesh. The darkness, Yah gave the spirit to man, and it shined. It was working 100. But the darkness, which is the flesh of man, wouldn't comprehend that there was a light in the midst of his darkness. You see? So therefore, as we go on in life, we have been lied to by our own nation. And we blame the world for lying to us about a history that was already within us. See, y'all never took it from us, because when you go back to Genesis, he said when he took Adam out, he left the light on. No matter which way you turn, you would always find your way. You know what that light was? Him, the righteous direction that you shall always find your way. What happened to people today that go as far as back in Torah enough to train people to live under their newfound denomination, but not take them to the deep? They can't go, Deborah. They went and they decided to swim so far out in the ocean, they can't even find their way home. Home is where? To dry land, where righteous stands, where the Most High is still having a stretched out arm, hand out to them, and a stretched out arm to them. They can't even find their way back to dry land, to that right hand, to that stretched out arm, because they have swam so far in the deep, even have led people so far out, the people cannot find their way home. Now, what the Most High is saying is man is going to be held 100 times 100 accountable from the beginning to the end. This is why it's so much hatred and so many spirits. You know how he said a nation of people are going to be hated on the four corners? That's just that's no different than the spirit that is hating their own nation. They hating their own nation. Because if the four corners can see this nation of people getting themselves together in Yah, back into the one that created them under his name, it's like he got a name, and he got these people listed under the name that he has. And these people are cutting up from the floor worse than anybody on the face of the earth, but they cannot see it, nor will they receive it. Why? Because you're going back to the beginning. You're going back to where Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5. And the light shined in darkness, and the darkness comprehended not, because their flesh refused to comprehend what is spirit and what is truth. They have been manipulated and deceived to believe it for so long. That's how far deep our men have gone, to where they can't even find their way home. And from what the Most High has prophesied, they're not going to find their way home. It's because it's been going on for too long, to where it shows everything that the Most High Yah, it crossed all his T's and dotted all his I's in his love and his mercy that's still shed abroad upon a people that's still going in the direction of hate. And they have molded their men to believe with a strong delusion, just as the homosexuals. They have a strong delusion that being a homosexual, being with men is the right thing. That's why Solomon Gomorrah had to be destroyed, and it's the surrounding cities along with him, and their women and children. It was just that heavy. Was the women and children involved? No. But because of the men who carries the light stepped in that realm. Everything that consists, that walks behind them, must die. That's why it says in Solomon Gomorrah, even young and old, meaning even young boys, was at the door wanting to participate in that homosexual life. It's because it starts even in their household, young. The thing starts in the household. Now, we're going to go back to Genesis, And I want to show you where sin had hit before Adam, but before Eve have taken anything. Okay. Now, in the book of Genesis, okay, and when you get to Genesis 3, when you get to the book of Genesis chapter 3, we're going to start with verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast on the field, which the Lord God had made. That's deep. And he said unto the woman, yea, have God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Now listen to the serpent speak this here. Yea, have Yah said, it says God, ye shall not eat of the tree of the garden. Now, this is not for those who are not full of the Ruach HaKodesh. This is only for he that is full of the Ruach HaKodesh. And what I'm saying here. Now, as the serpent tried woman, the serpent had it right. He said, yea, unto the woman, which the commandment was given not unto her, but until man that was with her. Okay. Let's say if he was 20 miles away from her. Okay. He still was in the midst or partaker in what the creator himself, one-on-one, told him when he created him. And furthermore, men that's out there that talk about the virgin birth, Mary and Joseph and all that, sick men. Adam was created. Adam was created without. Okay. So you need to go back to the drawing board. Okay. And Eve was created. And many more after them. Okay. So y'all don't need your authority and your righteous flesh understanding. That's that, and that's where you see a lot of these new awakening speakers so caught up in Mary and her being a virgin and Joseph and them having each other sick. That's where their minds is at. But let's get back to here. In Genesis chapter 3, it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. Then listen to this. And he said unto the woman, yea, meaning yes, have God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Now, is the serpent correct? Yes. Is that not what he told Adam? That is identical what he spoke unto Adam. But hear this. Verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit in the tree of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, ye shall not eat of it. You see? Now, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And that's what the serpent said, which was correct. But woman came back and said, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but this is where the key is at for me as a prophetess in the wilderness and as other prophets, they can see into this. But many of you all out there who don't have a chosen position in the body of Hamashiach, you can't see nothing. So you can portray and you can teach and you can role play all day and all night, but you can't see this. Okay. Now let's go to verse 3. But the fruit, this is what the woman said, but the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, Yah, God has said, ye shall not eat of it. Now, was she right? Yes, but this is where she was wrong. neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Had she not have added that, then Sister Deborah would have said that sin had not entered, but sin was already there. Because when she said, neither shall ye touch it, that is not what God had said. That is not what Yah had said. So where did Eve get this touch? See, this is for people who are taught by the Ruach HaKodesh, strictly by the Spirit. Okay, the pure word of the Most High Yah. So when she said, neither shall ye touch it, that's not what Yah said to Adam. So who told her that? How did that lie get in the midst before she took out of the tree of knowledge, good and evil? How could she say a statement of that nature? How would she say something that is not what Yah said to Adam? Where did she get it from? Touch. That lets you know that there was a sin, or there was something that had already took place. Okay? To where it had already started. Because that lie that she spoke before she was, during the time she was tempted, she lied. Because Yah didn't say touch. Because touch does not allow you to bring it in. It can't. Touch is something don't enter into the spirit of a man, enter into the light of a man. Okay? So therefore, touching didn't have no connection. It was what you take in. It's because what you take in goes to the spirit, man. That's what Yah was talking about. Separating the flesh from the spirit. But touching is not separating the flesh from the spirit. So where she get that? You got to think something else was going on. We have added as people, human beings, into the Most High's word. And we have taken away in such a great number to where he makes sure he allowed people to understand that taken away and added is going to be judged. Okay? Even when we sit on these platforms and teach people great levels of hate and disobedience and rebellion and these things, you're not really teaching, you enhance what was already within them. Okay, now let's go to Romans chapter, and I know these are verses that I have covered several times, but the Most High is dealing with me. When you go to Romans chapter 1, verse 17 and 18 and 19, Romans chapter 1, verse 17, 18, and 19. 17 says, for therein is righteousness of Yah revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. Faith is a gift from the Most High Yah. It ain't something you can do in your flesh to gain. It is something that is given to you in your spirit. Okay, now watch this here. For the wrath of Yah is revealed from heavens. Who is it revealed from heavens? Listen to this here. It is revealed from heavens against. Who is the wrath of Yah revealed against? All ungodliness, unrighteousness of who? Men, males. You see? Yah's about what he say what he's about. And what he is from the beginning is who he's going to be all the way through the end. Yes, we can go and add in and we can take away. We can make it alive. We can climb on top of it and say this and say that. And until people, and they might not, from what I'm seeing from the wilderness, they might not. But until people understand that you have to separate what proceed out of the mouth of Yah from what proceed out of the mouth of man. Because what proceed out of the mouth of Yah first, You know, he would tell man, and then man, you would hear it and read man telling the congregation or telling those in whom Yah spoke to them out of his mouth to tell them. But see, they don't do that in this day and time. They just assume that it don't have to be the word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. It can be what man proceed to say and create and understand and precept and line and little here, go back to Torah. Oh, I know Hebrew. They think it's about what they in their flesh. They don't understand in John 1, verses 4 and 5. Let's go to 5. John 1, Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 5 says that the light that's within them, darkness refused to comprehend it. Why? Because the light is what you call righteous. Now let's go on to Romans. The light is righteous. So when we get over here to this land, those 400 years, what was the sense of jealousy? If we didn't spark jealousy, what's the sense? It was something we were to catch on to, grip, repent, and turn from within them 400 years. Instead, we profane, dishonor, and disrespect him in the midst of the heathens who always knew who he was. Did we know? Yes, let's go there. The chapter 1 of Romans, verse 18. For the wrath of Yah is revealed from heavens against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of who? Males. Men. Watch this here. Watch what he says. Who holds the unrighteousness. They hold the truth in unrighteousness. Now, why is this saying that? It's saying that because in hope that they would look in here, read, and wait for the Ruach HaKodesh, which is the one that you have to tarry to teach you. Because he's coming to teach you all things. What's in here, what's ain't in here, what's to come, what to pass. But if you do not suffer him to be all that he was promised to be, then he allowed you to get up under man and let man mold and shape you into their understanding. And then you miss out. You go so far out in the deep of the ocean and can't get back to the dry land where his stretched out hand and arm is there at all times. They can't get back. Even Yah said he's going to give them a strong delusion to believe a lie. Why, Father? Why? It's because Deborah, for so long, I know who they are. I know if they're going to get right and if they're going to go in the right path. But let's go on. And in Romans chapter 1, verse 19, it says, because that which may be known of Yah is manifested in them. For Yah has shown it unto them. Verse 20, for the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things which are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, which is Christ, so that they are without excuse. 21, because that when they knew Yah, they glorified him not as Yah. This is the whole house of Israel, who's right now on a land boo-hooing, telling a multitude of people that is stiff-necked rebellion and disobedient that somebody's bothering him. How could somebody be bothering you when you have wronged the Creator more than anybody on the face of the earth? And he has always been for you. You tell me if that ain't deep. He has always been about you. And you have wronged him, even up to the year 2021, refusing to teach the people spirit and truth. Refusing to take heed to the Most High Yah and what he said. You have turned his word into that which is not acceptable in his heart. So he has allowed a strong delusion of your truth to rest therein. and let it rest into many who decides to follow. You get on these devil platform and you dance to every beat that the beast set before you with enjoyment and boosting you that you're a leader, you're a king, you're a teacher, you're a watchman, you're a seer, you're a moor, you're a pastor, you're a leader, you're a king. All of this. And this is what he says. Romans chapter 19, 20, and 21. Because that which may be known of Yah is manifested in them, for Yah has shown it to them. Manifested in them, because you know who he said? If you go back to 18, it says, for the wrath of Yah is revealed unto heavens against all ungodly and unrighteous of men, males, who holds truth in unrighteousness. You see that, man? You have messed up families, your own offspring, your own lineage, and you're running around here trying to find other reasons to justify why you are not kings and leaders and rulers. You're not who you want to be. So you blame the same one when Yah came to look for you. You said that woman. First you blame Yah. And that's what Yah said to the women. He wants you to know it's okay for them to blame you. It's okay for them to hate you because they first hate me. When Adam said that woman God gave me back in Genesis. See, y'all have to go back to Genesis and hear the Most High, what proceed out of his mouth. That's why Yeshua HaMashiach said to them in Matthews that, have you not read from the beginning? See, he takes them back, letting them know, baby, let me tell y'all something. The way that men are conducting themselves today is not the way Yah created it from the beginning. He made himself visible and known in what he stood for. The man continues since Genesis. Anything you start off wrong is going to end up wrong. Always believe that. Even a relationship. If you started off wrong, it's going to end up wrong. A job. If you started off the wrong way, it's going to end up wrong. Anything you do. If you start off lying, you're going to continue to lie. If you start off killing, you're going to continue to kill. If you start off hurting people and not caring and having no respect, you're going to continue to disrespect. That's why man has failed the Most High all the way up into the 2021. But greater now than then. Greater now than then. Why, Sister Deborah, is it greater? It's because I believe that spirit and truth is so revealed openly to the point where they have no reason to go up and buckle up against the Most High as they doing. Okay, so when you read in, let's go into Romans, he's talking to men. Now watch this, Romans chapter 1, verse 19. Because that which may be known of Yah is manifested in them, for Yah has shown it unto them. Not only is it manifested in you, he's shown it to you. Now watch this here. For the visible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by things that are made, even the eternal power, which is Christ, and the Godhead, which is Christ. Okay, so that they are without excuse, because that when they knew Yah, they glorified him not as Yah, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imagination, and in their foolish heart was darkened. It was even worse than John in the book of John, Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5. And the light shined in darkness, but the darkness comprehended not. Meaning it is never going to comprehend. Men are never going to get to the point where they are comprehending the light that Yah has invested in them. And I think that's darn sad to not understand that there is a light that Yah has placed in you that's supposed to have power over your flesh. That flesh does everything unrighteous and unjust. It talks unrighteous. It thinks unrighteous. It speaks unrighteous. All of your flesh is caught up in your page. And that's why you can't bring out spirit and truth. It's because all the things that your fleshes consist of, you have gotten content. You have swam so far out in the deep, you can't even find your way back to dry land. And you're not going to. Now, we must understand that women and men, that in the book of John, chapter, the Gospel of John, he was making a statement. And in that statement, he was sending great power. I know you all can't, and I don't have no problem with you not being able to comprehend it, because it's only for those who Yah has suffered. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Yah, and the Word was Yah. The same was in the beginning. See, that was a powerful statement for me. I can feel that. I can feel a power coming out of, authority coming out of that. Just wanted to make that statement clear. So it would too would be like a T cross and a I dotted. We can't run around here and proclaim that he didn't put his foot down. You know, same thing when he was talking to Jacob. Jacob said, gather yourself together, the sons of Jacob, so I can tell you what is before you in the end days. They didn't gather together. But then you hear Yah coming in and said, gather yourself together, you sons of Jacob, and hear thy father. You see, Yah had to come in on the scene. See, you can't tell who's who if you're not rooted in the Ruach HaKodesh. It's not under your feet, controlling you from bottom to top, from top to bottom. See, when you're just controlling yourself, then you're not getting the fullness. You're getting only what man in the flesh, the one that Yah called the darkness, not wanting to comprehend the light. You're getting the darkness. You're not getting anything else. Now, what did he say in Romans? Watch what he says here. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God. Neither were thankful, okay, but became vain in their imagination, and their foolish hearts were even darkened. You see? See, he's talking to males here. And as you read throughout the book, the men have gotten it messed up from the floor up, because they are teaching this thing out of the flesh and not out of the spirit. And it's all well with Yah. It's all well with Yah. Okay. It's hard for me. So he says, I have designed something for you, Deborah. I have designed a gift of endurance. So I'm placing endurance in you so you can endure what I'm teaching you and showing you from the wilderness on the earth. You see, there's no way I can be able to stand. I'll be out of my mind in a straight jacket or 6 foot under. But because he did give me something to help me to endure and be able to stand in the midst of everything that they are calling righteous, and they're sitting taking truth in unrighteous. That's what Romans chapter 18 said. The men holding truth in unrighteousness. So what do you mean truth? They holding it because they didn't understand what they don't understand today. They didn't understand it then. They don't understand that the light in them was the light of Yah. And they became a spirit that Yah have set into their flesh. And that spirit knows righteous. See, their spirit knows righteous. But because they enjoy their flesh, which is darkness, the darkness of their flesh will not let them comprehend the spirit of Yah that was given to every man. How was it given to every man in the Gospel of John, chapter 1 and 4? In a man was sperms. And those sperms, when they are dispersed into a woman, okay, it has come out of a man with light. You see? So the reason why he's talking to you, men, not because you all that handsome, not because you all up here and you macho and you know this, you better, or she sinned in the garden. No, it's because before she was created, he invested something in you, which was the light. And that light that bees in you, let's go to Romans, the Gospel of John, chapter 1. And let's show you where he placed it in man, so that what? chapter 1. Let's get to verse 8 and 9. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 8 and 9. He was not the light. Talking about John the Baptist. And you notice his capital light. That was Christ. That all men through him might believe. Men. Because he had invested righteous in you, men. And you kicked it all to the curb. Because your flesh is darkness. And it refused to comprehend light. Now listen to what he said. That was the true light, which was Christ. Which is Yah's right hand power. Which ushered the power of you and I to have a light, which is a lowercase light, which is a spirit. Now listen to this. That was the true light, which lighted every now human being that coming into the world. Notice every human being that come into the world. If a child dies before he come into the world, then he don't come in with the light. You see? It's only when he come in. Okay? But if it comes from the men and the light begin to get it shining once it come into the world. But when it's in a man, he is carrying those bloodline seeds that has the ability to have that light. So that's why he's talking to the men from the beginning to the end, because you're carrying his gold. Okay, just let's set an example. If you were in, let's say, another country, and you own all the gold in the world, all the gold, aren't you going to be cautious of who you're going to allow to transport your gold? And aren't you going to teach them and tell them and warn them how precious your gold is? Aren't you going to keep telling them, because you're the richest in the whole world? You own all the gold. Well, that's who Yah is. He is the light, the lowercase light and the uppercase light. The uppercase light gave every person that come into the world a light. Now listen to where that's at. And you go into the Gospel of John, chapter, I just had it, 9. That was the true light, which lighted every man that cometh unto the world, that cometh into the world. Now listen to this. He came unto his own, and his own receives him not. Okay. But the same, but verse 12, but as many as receive him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Yah, even to them that believe on the name. Okay. Now he's letting you know he gave you the light, but that power he gave to those who receive him. You see, 99.9 on these platforms, they don't even know what the rat's behind their teaching. All they know is that they got a multitude following them and they loving it in their flesh. Now, the light was given to men, but he needed a helpmate for him because it wasn't good that man carried the light. So he needed a helpmate to meet the will of Yah. He needed a helpmeet to meet the will of Yah, not to meet his lust, not to meet his pleasure. They got it wrong. And they always have. How do you know they got it wrong, Deborah? Because Romans chapter 1, it even talks about the men hold truth in unrighteousness. Why you say that, Deborah? Because that verse 19, because that which may be known of Yah is manifested in them. See, that spirit knows righteous, but the flesh, it don't want to do what's right. So they're teaching everybody on these platforms out of the flesh, and they find much pleasure, much satisfying, much subscribers, much light. And here I am enduring the fact that they walking backwards. And Yah said, no, I'm gonna have to give you something so you can endure it, because you got to understand I'm the creator. How do you think I must feel? You see how he said it? He said, I'm gonna have to give you something. So he gives me the gift of endurance. That's why I can stand on here and I can say these things, whether it's to male or female. But the males don't understand they lost without a cause. They don't even understand really what was the 400 years of suffering about. It was the 400 years of suffering. It was about you and what you have done. Let's give you a little taste. Men. Okay, in Ezekiel 36, verse 16, and we're going to go down. In Ezekiel 36, this is what is going on, and it's continuing. Okay, listen to this. Moreover, the word of Yah came unto me, saying, and watch this here. Son of man, when the house of Israel dwell in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their own doing. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're doing today. They defiling him today the same way. They destroyed their own nation by what? Their own doings and their own way. Our Hebrew Israelite movement men are defiling, okay, their own nation and their own let's dwell in their own land. They defiled it. They defiling their own nation in this land of captivity. They defiling it their own way and by their own doing. But yet, saying to the Most High, they bothering us. They took our history. They did this to us. They doing this to our men. They doing this to our women. They raped our women. They raped our men. They did this to our children. Yah said you are alive from the pit of hell. It was what you did in the land that was given unto you. And it says here, let's go back. Ezekiel 36. Moreover, the word of Yah came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelled in their own land, they did these things. They defiled it by their own ways. So what makes these Hebrew Israelite men run and try to graft on what is going on over in Israel? Why? You done messed that land up from the floor up. You have defiled it. You have caused it to be cursed. You have caused it to, you shed blood on. All that stuff is still there. All that stuff that we did in that land. When Yah gave us our own land, they defiled it by their own ways. And watch this here. And by their own doing. They doing that today. In the land of captivity. They defiling their own nation. And they're destroying their own nation by their own doings. That's why you have many Hebrew Israelite movements under one umbrella. And all of them are saying, we the people. We the children. And they don't understand you're the one that has always been loaded with lust and sin and unrighteousness. Okay, now listen to what the Most High said to Ezekiel. Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelled in their own land, what land was that? The richest land on the face of the earth that the Most High had prepared for them. Anointed and appointed and prepared it well. If it was still existing today, it would be the richest land on the face of the earth. But because they did this before they even got over to this land. So if they did this to their own land, what kind of people you think that came over here to this land? Do you think they angels? Do you think they righteous? Do you think they good? Do you think they all that and some? They the same one that's cutting up now. See, Yah is revealing it as days go on, even into today, yesterday, meaning yesterday, really yesterday, you can see them doing exactly what they did when they were on their own land. They just coming out. This is what they are awakening to. The action of their flesh. When they were on their own land, they are conducting themselves on the land of their captive the same way they conduct themselves on their own land that got them put out. Listen to this. And it says, and they defiled it by their own ways. These are men. Do y'all hear me? This going to always be men he talking about. Women get destroyed with them because the women are their offsprings of their bloodline. So it's who they are in the flesh of these men, these men's sons and daughters. That's why the rebellion and stiff-necked and disobedient follow under the bloodline of the forefathers. It don't follow under Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They are the seed of heaven that came down from the heavens as the seed of the Most High God. See, you remember when he gave you the example of the sower sowing the seeds? They were the ones that were put in the ground to bring forth. Okay, the forefathers are not the ones that he put in the ground to bring forth. They are the ones that were thrown onto stony grounds, places that the sower knew he was throwing them to, that they're not going to prosper. They're not going to get anywhere. They're not going to do anything. See, these is what the men won't teach you all. These things are spirit and they are truth. Now listen to Ezekiel. Listen to what Ezekiel said. In verse 17, son of man, when the house of Israel dwelled in their own land. Now, see, y'all have to understand, women and men, they were in their own land. Their own land in which Yah had blessed, appointed, and anointed for them. He didn't even allow their family to come there. He brought the children there and gave them their own. Okay, now watch this here. And they defiled it by their own ways and by their own doing. I wonder where was the oppressor then? I wonder where was the heathens? I wonder where was the white man? Hey, Esau, what was you then when they was on their own land? Esau, what was you? And here, when Yah was telling Ezekiel how ugly of a nation of men are, and always be. Now listen to this. And as it says, they way was before me as a uncleanness of a removed woman. That's bad. Yah said that's what he saw. Your ways was before me as a uncleanness of a removed woman. Now, if you do your study on that, you'll see what Yah says about that. Okay. That is not good at all. That's what Yah saw in you. Men. I know it. It's best to put it on woman like you did in the garden, never repenting. When you disobeyed his order, you never repent. You never say, okay, I disobeyed you, Father Yah. You told me. And I disobeyed. No one never realized that, wait a minute. Why did he take of what she took of? Because he had already taken of it. That's why it was easy for her to add and touch. You see? See, something had went on before the serpent came on the scene. Okay? So going back to here, we're going to go to verse 18. Wherefore I poured my fierce upon them for the blood they had shed upon the land. What blood was that? You see? So when we sitting here saying the police killing us, the white man killing us, the white man destroying us, they bothering our family, they bothering our men, they taking our men life, they killing them. Wait. Yah wants to say to you today, through his prophetess, how dare you? How dare you? In your land where I had you, you was killing each other. Now you in the land of your captive. And you still doing just as worse and in great numbers. And you're blaming everybody except for yourself. Men are not looking in the mirror and seeing how thick their ugliness is before Yah. Now watch this here. In 18 said, wherefore I poured out my fierce upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land and their idols wherewith they had polluted it. You all had polluted everything he had given you since the beginning of Genesis. You have profaned his name, because his name had you listed. Watch what the heathens say about you being the people. See, they ain't never lied to you. You've been lying to yourself. Our men would rather lie to their nation than to tell them the truth, because the truth in them, y'all said in Romans chapter 1, they have turned the truth into a lie. Okay. And here it says in verse 18, wherefore I pour out my fears upon the blood before them, for the blood that they had shed upon the land. See, y'all was over there killing each other. Okay. And their idols wherewith they had polluted it. Now watch this here. And I scattered them among the heathens. He scattered you among the heathens, and they were dispensed there through the countries according to their ways. So those ways that you had over in your land, killing each other and cutting up on the floor up and doing the nasty things that you've done, okay, like an unclean, removed woman, me and you're doing it now, okay, among the heathens. And you wonder why the heathens don't like you. And then you run around here, the women and the men, they killing us. They killing our men. They killing our children. Have you looked again in the mirror and not see your women, and your men killing their children? The men are killing by great numbers, and you refuse to see it for what it is. But y'all gonna let you go move on. But listen to this. And when they enter into, no, wait a minute, and scatter you according to 19, according to their ways and according to their doing, I judged them. See, he judged you how? I judged them. You know what he said? Your judgment was what they doing to you. When you thinking it's them bothering you, it's a judgment. And you ain't seen nothing yet. This is the day of the end warning. This is the day of the end warning. Okay, now, and he said he judged you in the midst of your heathens, just as he doing today. You thinking the heathens doing things to you? They ain't doing nothing to you. That's the judgment of the Most High, allowing these things to come up on a nation of people who still have not learned in the 400 years. And look into verse 20. And when they enter into the heathens, that means you enter into the land, whether they went, okay, they profane my holy name. See, you all are still doing that to today. You're profaning his name. You're making his name and smearing it all over the world. So you wonder why they hate you. You wonder why they dislike you. This is all the will of the Father, for them to portray on you the way that you are. Why would you say that? He said, listen to this. And he scattered them among the heathens, and they were dispensed through the country according to their way and according to their doing. When was that? When they was in their land. The same things that you all are conducting yourself here, while these men are teaching people that it's okay to hate, to kill their brothers, to kill their children, to hate on one another. Don't have no unity. You can have unity up. It ain't coming. This is what he said he did with it. He brought you to the land to give you a taste of who you really are. And did they learn? This is the key to me. And that's why I thank him for the endurance power, which is a gift, is they still didn't learn. Still, for 400 years. And then to enter into the heathens, whether they went, this is verse 20, they profaned my holy name when they said to them, these are the people of Yah. See, the heathens knew who you are. They still know who you are today. That's you. It ain't the heathens. It ain't the heathens doing anything. They don't have to go to school and teach their children who you are and what happened to you. Hell, here it is. The Most High and shown you the 400 years and shown you a history in a book, and you still don't take heed to it. And you don't even teach your own sons. The men today don't even teach their own sons spirit and truth. They don't even teach their own sons the pure adulterated word of the Most High Yah, but they want the white man to teach it in their schools. You're sick. You're sicker than sick. You want the white man to stop killing you. You want the white man to look at you as human. You want the white man to do this to you, the white man to do this. Yah is the only one going to deal with the white man, but he's going to deal with you at the same measurement. I know you thinking you just going to jump up and get over there and go. Yah said if you refuse to tell the truth and you rather live a lie and tell the people the lie, I'm going to let you tell them that. But where they going, you're going to. Because when I see you, I'm going to see the blood in which you have on your hand. Because when you knew truth, you told them not. And the truth is not what you all are teaching these people. Now, I want every last one of you all to hear what Ezekiel is saying, the Most High said to him in this here. Verse 19 in chapter 36 of Ezekiel, verse 19. And I scattered them among the heathens, and they were dispensed through the countries according to their way and according to their doing. See, y'all knew you had a way in you. He knew you had a doing in you. I judge them because you're thinking you're getting away with a lie. Judgment is before you, in front of you, on every side and in the back of you. You ain't getting away with nothing. All these things are happening. It's because y'all got his foot down and you running around here thinking it's you ruling. You controlling because you dancing to the beat of the beast's right hand on these devil platforms. Everything the beast talk about, here you is got to expound on. Because you really in you is the beast's ways. You don't even have to get the shot. You don't even have to get the shot. Because anytime anybody get on these platforms, anytime they get on these platforms and dance to the music of the beast and don't have no words for Yah, anointed and appointed, no words to encourage people to turn to the face of Yah, let me tell you something. You have been won over. You already got the mark. You already got the vaccine because you're living it just as you did here. On your own land, you're living it here. Your darkness have not comprehended the light and accept the ultimate light, which is Christ. You can run around here and say you accept it, but the strong delusion is heavy upon thee. But I like the Most High how he said he dispersed them according to their ways and their doings. Why? He knew your ugliness, tribe of Judah and the whole house of Israel. He knew your deepness of your ugliness before the foundation of the world. And when he allowed you to get on a land that was floating with milk and honey that he had prepared for you, the pure, just perfect place, you profaned, you polluted the land. So the land is cursed. You still got ignorant men from the Hebrew Israelite movement still dealing with, oh, our home over there, oh, our home. It's desolated. It's polluted. It's cursed from the eyes of Yah until he speak renewal and suffer it to come back. But he's not going to speak this while they're over there in that land. He's going to speak it once the land is exactly the way he see it in the eyes of you and I. I can see it that way already. That's why I see why our men go running over there and stay there for years. It's because that's how ignorant they really are to believe, oh, I'm going to take and claim my land. I live over you claiming polluted land, okay, and cursed land. That's all you claiming, and that's what you've been living on. Because Yah did not tell us to go over there. He did not tell us to go over there. And when he dispersed those on all the corners, the one thing I like about it is how he did it. Now, let me explain to you how the heathens received you as, watch this here. Watch how the heathens received you. These are the people of Yah. They know who you are. And your ignorant tails on all these devil platforms trying to prove you the Hebrew Israelite. You the true children of Yah. Only one the fool is you. You're the only fool. You're the only naive. You're the only one walking in darkness. These white people don't need you to teach slavery in no school. They don't need you to teach the world anything about you. You didn't show them who you were. You didn't showed up and showed out. Why didn't you teach them who you were? by standing in righteousness, by standing in the sight of the Most High Yah and doing what he willed you to do. Why did you do that? Instead, you sitting around killing each other. Men on this devil platform can't even shake the spirit that Yah has allowed to be put upon them, which is hate. They can't even shake it off of them, which is a delusion as well. They can't even shake it off. They get on here and they just have to degrade women before they say anything about a man. They'll cut into a woman and then they'll say something about a man. They can't even hold their Bible class without bringing a woman to a level of negative. But women, I want you to tell you, Yah said they did the same thing in the garden. When he come looking for him, he blamed him first and then her second. That's the beginning of what's going to be at the end. So no, the way that they did it at the beginning is how men are going to be at the end of before he re-clean it up. You see, he's going to clean up the filth from the generation that's coming. Not us. We ain't going nowhere. Okay. Now listen to how the heathens saw us while we're sitting here with our dumb tails, refusing to accept what is spirit and truth. And spirit and truth is what proceed out of the mouth of Yah and taught by the spirit of the Most High Yah. Now he said, and when he did scatter them, he said, and when they enter into the heathens, whether they went, they profaned my holy name when they said to them, these are the people of Yah and are gone forth out of his land. See, they knew that our land was Yah's land that he had given us. And they knew that we was the people. So what are y'all talking about? I have to go right now. I got to go do some shopping. But what are y'all talking about? What are these men talking about? Why do we want them to teach in their school? They don't have to teach nobody nothing to you in school. 400 years and you ain't learned nothing still. 400 years you ain't even taught your own sons and daughters. 400 years you ain't done nothing in righteousness. 400 years you haven't reunited. 400 years you haven't repented. 400 years you have walked in darkness because you did not want to walk in righteousness. You came here like this, the Most High Yah said. These people didn't make you who you are. You were like this on your own land. These men are lying, and they're going to lie to the very end. If you go to Isaiah 3 and see in the end, you'll see where he said he's going to destroy them because they're lying. He's going to judge them heavily. And I understand why the house of Israel have to be judged first, because they are the only nation that's loaded with sin. But they want to blame every other nation in the way that they are going. These other nations weren't founded under Yah's name. You were. And because you were founded under such a great name, such a great judgment going to be on you. And it is already. I'm sitting here hooping and hollering. Why are they killing each other? Why are they dying? Why are these men teaching this hate in these men's heads? And they going out killing, thinking in control of their mindset of leader and king. Why are they killing their babies? Y'all say, hold up. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I had to buckle up. Okay, I know. I said, Father, you know I'm flesh too. I'm living down here. See, and that's why he bring comfort to me, because he has me down here in the flesh, knowing what is actually going on and what is actually taking place. Where our people are sitting on this devil platform wanting to be taught by a bunch of men that wants to carry unrighteousness, truth in unrighteousness. And they are so content. He said they did it then. They're going to do it now all the way to the end. And that's why they're not going to the promised land. Not going to the promised land. They better get it right, spirit. They better get their spirit right and get their flesh under the subjection to their spirit. And I charge every man to get your flesh under the subjection to your spirit. And you want to run around here and play all these games that you think that they did in the old, because you said they did it and he didn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing about Adam eating, taken out of the garden until he did it. Y'all got judgment at your door. It's already there, because the example that he gave me here In Ezekiel 36, it's enough to make me close this book and say, all right, I'm waiting. It is what it is. So our Sister Deborah is going to pull out and pull up. And I say to you, I will be back. But this is a warning of the day, the end days warning. And it's no play. So you keep on teaching these women and these men. These men are the greatest liars and deceivers on the face of the earth. And I had no idea until the Spirit of the Most High Yah say that they are. You think I'm going to believe you over him? You's a liar and the truth is not in you. The deceiving spirit is coming from the whole house of Israel, men. And the number one is the tribe of Judah. They are refusing to do anything that's righteousness in the eyes of God. If you ever want to do a little in-depth, go to Ezekiel chapter 36. Go to chapter 1 of Romans. Go to chapter 2 and chapter 3 of Genesis, where the error was already met before the serpent spoke unto Eve. The serpent spoke truth and Eve spoke a lie. Come on, y'all. Get with it and try to come to the conclusion that you've been deceived to believe a lie than to believe the truth. So I, Sister Deborah, a prophetess in the wilderness, and that's all right with me. And I thank the Most High for being in the wilderness. Yes, it comes with endurance, long suffering, because you have to long suffer and endure what is righteous before you, living in a world that is unrighteous, and those that say they see, they cannot see. Say they hear, but cannot hear. You have to endure being in the midst of that nonsense, but keep standing for righteousness because Yah is righteous and he has already planted it in us. We just refuse to comprehend the light that rests in. So I, Sister Deborah, say unto you, I will be back with many more warnings as long as the breath of life of the Most High Yah rest therein. So I say unto you all, shalom and shalom.